Hey guys, so sorry it's been 3 weeks. I get sad. I think if you watched my last video, you kind of understand that. By the way, thank you for 40,000 views on that. The goal I set for my videos is literally 200 views. So to go from like 200 to 40,000, it's cool. And I'm thankful. So thank you if you watched that. Today we're doing another documentary, this time on Demi Lovato. Demi is doing a 4-part documentary leading up to the release of her album. Her last documentary released all the way back in 2017, which is so weird. I feel like that was a literal lifetime ago. I'm also gonna do this video in 2 parts, the first 2 episodes today, and the next 2 episodes in another video. So if you wanna see my reaction for that, please subscribe and stick around. And without further ado, let's get started. Oh, I'm nervous. To be honest, my memory is now trash, so I don't remember anything that happened in the first documentary. I probably should have rewatched it before this, but I didn't. Just prefacing. Demi is so beautiful. I have, what's it called? You guys know I'm really attached to my childhood, so I have what I call my 4 OGs, and it's the people I've stan since I was a kid. And it's Selena, Demi, Taylor, and Ariana. I've loved Demi Lovato since I was a kid, and I'll always love her. So it just like makes me sad because you idolized her on like Camp Rock and Sunny with a Chance and whatnot, and then you look back with like this newfound behind the scenes perspective, and it's just insane to just like fathom that all this was going on at the time, and it just seems so innocent and perfect as a kid, you know? I'm like pre-sad. I'm a very avoidant person, so when bad things happen, I don't like, my mind doesn't go to worst case scenario or anything like that. I just pretend it didn't happen. So like the Demi's overdose, like I almost didn't want to believe it. I know there was a little clip in the trailer of one of her friends saying, honestly, she shouldn't even be alive. And I really can't even think about like if that were to have happened.
I can't believe y'all are doing this. This is lit, but okay.
It's tough because we shot an entire documentary that will never see the light of day.
Side note, I love that she's still friends with him, because if you're a Disney fan, you know he was in Sunny with a Chance and So Random. I love to see those sort of friendships last.
In that documentary, I was allowing the cameras to see the tip of the iceberg.
Can we turn the cameras off?
That's insane that there was this vision for this tour documentary that just completely shifted. Life is crazy.
Any time that you suppress a part of yourself, it's gonna like overflow at some point. And that's ultimately like what happened to me in a lot of areas of my life.
Demi Lovato.
Superstar Demi Lovato.
TMZ reports that the singer was rushed to the hospital.
Law enforcement is stating that she overdosed.
The more the details come out about what went down, the more it becomes really obvious that she's really lucky to be alive.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Second chance. Random side note, Demi's self-titled album is one of my favorites of all time. Maybe because it was released in 2014, and 2013 and 14 are my favorite years of life, but that album, In Case, probably my favorite Demi song ever.
Mental health is something that we all need to talk about, and we need to take the stigma away from it. 6 years ago, I was drinking vodka out of a Sprite bottle at 9 in the morning.
I definitely think that she had some things that were underlying, that she was trying to self-medicate.
It wasn't until the last few years that I really fully realized the impact that eating disorders have had on her. We had to be very careful what we ate around her, which sounds insane.
And I'm just not feeling comfortable in my body right now because I stopped being so strict with food so that I could get more peace with it. I put on like a little weight. So like I don't want to go on stage every night in clothes that are like showy.
There's just so much pressure as a female in the industry to look a certain way and to like dress a certain way. And that shit is the stuff that I used to look up to. That shit's really triggering.
The hard thing about, I've had an experience with an eating disorder, and the hard thing about it, I hate to say it, but it like kind of never goes away. You may get past like being fully in it, but the thoughts, issues with self-esteem and body dysmorphia, they'll always be there in the back of your mind, and that's what makes it so easy to like fall back into the patterns and the habits. It's so sad because obviously society sucks, and there's just these standards and like idealized images of what people should look like. It's just not real. Like I haven't posted an Instagram picture in like 3 years. I can't go on TikTok because it drains me more than going on Instagram. I get like seasonal depression in the summertime for reasons you could probably guess. It's just a lot. It's heartbreaking to see that everybody around Demi had to be like on tippy toes because they didn't know how they could possibly affect her with something so simple as eating, you know? I know some people would look at that and probably think like, well, why would I have to be so careful? Like, who cares? Let me eat what I want to eat. But it's really hard to understand. And there's also a difference between disordered eating and like a true eating disorder.
I picked up a bottle of red wine that night, and it wasn't even 30 minutes before I called someone that I knew had drugs on them. I'd never done meth before. I tried meth. I mixed it with Molly, with Coke, weed, alcohol,
That's insane.
Oxycontin, and like that alone should have killed me. It wasn't until I went on a trip to Bali a few weeks later that I realized I had become physically dependent on it. And it was on that trip that I actually wrote Sober.
Sober is a really heartbreaking song. It's one of those songs that makes me want to cry every time I listen to it. And to be honest, even though I'm like a really emotional person, that doesn't really happen with many songs, but Sober is definitely one of them. Episode 2.
The morning of the overdose, her door was closed. Opened the door really slowly, and it was really dark and cold in her room. And I kind of got chills. She wasn't really moving. She was like drooling. And I'm just kind of like, do I call 911?
Side note, I love how they're doing this animation. I think that's a cool way to illustrate what happened. And also, I gotta give a shout out to like anybody who works in the medical field. That stuff like terrifies me. I have so much respect for people in the medical field, especially like EMTs or surgeons. You have to have like a heart of gold.
And I looked down at my phone and I saw that everybody in the world was texting me.
That reminds me of like TMZ. If they say it was TMZ, that makes me so mad.
The plane lands and everyone turns on their phone. People are gasping in the plane. It was so surreal. And I'm looking at everyone's phone and it says Demi Lovato overdose.
The next 24 hours are going to be tough. We'll know if she's going to make it within the next 24 hours. And I said, what do you mean if she's going to make it?
I had 3 strokes. I had a heart attack.
I saw a tweet about this like a couple days ago or a week ago or something. That's so sad. If you're one of those people that like the tweets or retweeted the tweets or made the tweets or whatever, making fun of her overdose, like you're fucking sick.
I had 5 to 10 more minutes, and had my assistant not come in, I wouldn't be here today.
God bless her assistant.
I have to give thanks to the doctors.
First moment that I saw Demi in the hospital, I grabbed her hand and I said, I'm here and I love you, just to let her know I had gotten to the hospital. And she looked me dead in the eye and she said, who is that?
That is by far the worst moment of my life was when she woke up and she was like, I can't see anything.
The first time you got sober, I think it was in response to the fact that your parents told you you couldn't see your sister Madison. And then to bring it full circle, you couldn't see your sister in a literal sense.
It's really ironic and in a weird way poetic that it ended up happening like that and me not actually seeing her.
That's insane.
To be honest, when I found out that
that's crazy.
Demi wanting to be able to see me and keep a relationship with me was one of the reasons she went to treatment, I didn't believe it.
My cocktail before I got sober was Coke and Xanax together. It was an upper and a downer, and I loved the combination. Once I relapsed, the floodgates were open. I called a drug dealer and I was like, do you have Coke and Xanax? And he said no, but I have crack and heroin.
What? No. But here, try heroin. Look at the streak from my tear. I'm just gonna leave it.
What people don't realize about that night for me is that I wasn't I didn't just overdose, I also was taken advantage of.
I saw that on Twitter.
I was literally left for dead after he took advantage of me.
I want him arrested. I want him arrested right now.
I've realized a lot of my past traumas came to a head that night, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible for my life choices and hold only myself accountable. And the last 2 years have been about
like the
me doing
Disney
the work
images of her. They're
to
messing me up.
identify and confront those traumas so I can be my best self and truly be happy.
It's not very common that you'd see someone with a drug-related overdose with this degree of multi-organ failure that would come out of it relatively unscathed and do as well as she has.
It's like a nice reminder that it wasn't my time.
When she turned 28 this past year, it is pretty morbid, but we kind of were like, you made it to 28. Yes, you survived the 27 club. In a way, it's like probably a subconscious self-fulfilled prophecy. But what's different is she lived through it, is that she survived it. She was where her father was, but she got through it.
I watched the movie Beautiful Boy not that long ago with Timothée Chalamet, mostly for him, but I don't know if it's a good movie in terms of like addiction depiction, but I feel like it gave me some sort of idea of how like addiction just changes people, and it's a disease. And I know it's hard to understand because to become addicted, like you have to take that first step of like taking the drug and stuff, but like people don't choose to become addicted to things, so you can't. Like, I feel like we have to stop like villainizing people for struggling with addiction and just like looking down upon people for it. I didn't think I was gonna get YouTube Premium for the 3rd and 4th episode, but now I really want to because I want to know what happens next. It like really hit me for the first time what happened. I feel like I end every video of mine saying I don't really know what else to say, but like I truly don't know what else to say. I feel like that was a lot. Yay for me crying on camera again. Please stay safe, guys. Make smart decisions. She deserves to live a long, happy life, and I wish that for the rest of you guys as well. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you like, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!